Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our second day of vectors. Today we're focusing on vector operations. You should get out this note paper. We're going to continue on with that last couple sections there about adding, subtracting, and multiplying vectors by scalars. So let's actually jump to that section. All this is on here already, but I'm going to rewrite it so you can kind of see how things work in action. If you want to add two vectors together, you add their corresponding components, meaning the x's get added together and then the y's get added together. And that'll give you your new vector. So if you want to add v and u together, you take -3 and 2 and add them together. And then if you want to get the y component, you can take 4 and -8 and add those together. And that will give you your new vector, which is going to come out to be -1, -4. So pretty quick there. If you're going to subtract vectors, you do the same thing. You'll take the x's and subtract those. And then you'll take the y's and subtract those. So pretty quick sort of process here. 5 minus -1. You may want to put the negatives in parentheses. So you got 5 and -1. And then you'll have -2 and 6. Like that. And you simplify it. 5 minus -1, same thing as 5 plus 1, which is 6. And then -2 minus 6 is -2 plus -6, which will give you -8, not -2. And you have 6, -8. There's another thing you can do with vectors, and that's multiply them by a scalar. Multiplying by a scalar is basically a matter of just taking a vector and timesing by it. So if a is 2 and you have this vector and you want to do a times that vector, you just do 2 times your vector, which to do that you basically just distribute your 2 and you end up with -6, 8. Make sure you put your fancy brackets on. Ta-da! We've multiplied by a scalar. So pretty quick individual processes, but if you combine that with some other things that you did from yesterday, such as getting the magnitude, the process can get more complicated. Let's do some examples from your assignment so you can see that. So go to this section here where v is 4, 2 and c is -3, 5. And let's add those vectors together and subtract the vectors. So if you want to do v plus c, you can do 4 plus -3. Those are the x components. And then you'll do 2 and 5 added together. Those are the y components. And you're looking at 1, 7. So pretty quick to do v plus c. Let's have you try doing c minus v. That means you'll take the components of c and subtract the components of v. Go ahead and pause the video and let's see if you can do it all by yourself. Alright, go ahead and check and see how you did. Did you get -7, 3? If you didn't, then something might have gone wrong. Make sure you're doing c minus v. And so that'll be -3 minus 4, and then 5 minus 2. You do have to subtract both components. Let's move on to another one that's taking c and v and multiplying them by scalars and subtracting them. So it's got multiple things going on. Let's go through that process. First, I'm going to write down what c and v are so that you can see them. Alright, now that I have them, we're going to have to do 2 times c, and then we have to do 3 times v, and then subtract them. You can also see this as plus -3 if you want to go that route. So you can do -3 times v, and then add that to 2 times c. But let's just go with the subtract part. So we're going to do 2 times -3, 5. And we're going to subtract 3 times 4, 2. So go ahead and distribute those in. You're looking at -6, 10. Oh, that was a bad bracket. And then -12, 6. And now you have two vectors. You've subtracted vectors before. Go ahead and simplify them. Pause the video and come back. Go ahead and check and see what you got. Make sure you got -18, 4. You're subtracting these, remember. So yeah, you can do -6 minus 12, and then 10 minus 6 to yield -18, 4. Let's move on to another one. This is where you start having to do some magnitude as well. But luckily, the part that's in here, f plus h, is something you do on part A. So you can take your answer from A and then go ahead and get the magnitude of it. So let's have you do part A all by yourself. Get f plus h, pause the video, and then come back. All right, let's have you check. Did you get 2, 2? If you did get 2, 2, you should do something nice for yourself. You know, give yourself a pat on the back, or if you can find a Fruity somewhere, go ahead and eat Fruity, or, you know, do something great for you. But let's move on to the next part, which part B is you're supposed to find the magnitude. Remember, the vertical lines around it means get the magnitude of that. So where you have f plus h, it's 2, 2. So really, we're just getting the magnitude of 2, 2. Hopefully I haven't forgotten since yesterday how to get magnitude. To get magnitude, you're going to take both of the components, square them, add them up, and square root it. And that'll be the magnitude. So it comes out to be a square root of 4 plus 4, which gives you the square root of 8, which is about, grab a calculator and plug that in and see what you get. It's about 2.83. So exact answer, approximate value. And it'll be important that you need to be able to get the approximate value because that'll be important on our next example. So we're going to go towards the end of your assignment to number 15, and we're skipping the beginning parts, and we're going to jump to F. Because F has scalar multiplication, magnitude, and subtraction, and let's go through this process. So what you need to do is you need to get the inside part of both of these figured out, and then you can get magnitude, and then you can subtract, so you're kind of working inside out. Let's start with 3j. 3j is going to be 3 times the j vector, which is negative 4, 6. And we have to do the magnitude of that minus the magnitude of 5 times k, and k is 3, negative 3. So we're looking at magnitude of negative 12, 18 minus magnitude of 15, negative 15. I would like for you to pause at this point and get the magnitude of these two. Make sure you have them separate because we are going to have to subtract them. But pause and get those magnitudes. Alright, let's have you check and see how things went. You do negative 12 squared plus 18 squared, you get 468, and the square root of 468 is about 21.63. And then you're going to square 15 and square negative 15, add them up, you're going to get 450, and the square root of that is about 21.21. And if you subtract those, you're going to get about 0.42. Not a really big value, but that's about what you're going to get. So that's today's lesson. Good luck on your assignment. Make sure you're asking questions if you get stuck, and we'll try and get them answered. Go ahead and help each other, and good luck.